All right, Shalom. First, I'll give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are there in the truth, and in sincerity, and the women and the children who follow. So, just wanted to do a deep dive here on really NATO, the EU, the beast having 7 heads and 10 horns, and really, the evolution of the beast, the Roman, really Europe, and how it's evolved over the years into the beast, the different parts and aspects of it, and a lot of this I'm kind of freestyling, so y'all bear with me, but So this scripture, we're going to get the scripture first. This is Revelation 17:3. It says, "So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns." Okay, so those 7 heads and 10 horns, we're going to go into that right now. Okay, so we have Germania Major, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, the Germania Minor, the British, and the Greeks. And of course, we have America sitting on top of the beast. All right. Now, as it says right here, you can see these 7 heads are the 7 kingdoms or governments ruled by Esau. And we're gonna, we have an old time map of the old Roman Empire, and you see all these places. You see Germania, and we'll dive into that here in a moment. You have the French, which is known, they were known as Gaul back in the day. Hispania, Britannia, Britain. The Spanish or Hispania. You have the Romans, which is Italy or Italia, and then this green one here kind of looks like a hand. I'm trying to zoom in on it, but here we go. Right there, right above that Mediterranean mare, right above that, that's Greece. So those are the different empires, and they at one point in time they all, not all had a rule, but they all came in power and they all fell. So one thing that you're seeing right now, you're seeing this Germania. It's just categorizing it as Germania, but at a certain period of time, it was actually split into 2 different kingdoms. That's going alongside with Gaul, or later they were conquered by the Franks, I believe. Is where you get the word France or the French. And let me see. We'll go to that right here. So as you can see, this is Germania Superior, Germania Inferior, Major or Minor, however it is you want to put it. But you can see the separation. Okay, so in all of these countries, it's still all the original 10, going back to the 10 horns. Okay, Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland, and West Germany. Those are the original 10. And even though Europe is broken into all these different countries now, there still takes up the lands of these original 10. So let me see. Okay, so yeah, these are the members of the EU. Okay, so you see some of these same countries, Spain and Portugal, Ireland and the UK, Britain. You have France, Belgium, Luxembourg. You have Germany, of course. The wall is down, so it's not Germany and West Germany. It's not separated. It's just one land. You have Poland. A lot of those other countries are broken into these newer, smaller countries. You got Romania and Bulgaria and Slovenia, Austria, all these, so like I said, Croatia, all these smaller countries are still all a part of that same original 10, the same. It's all the same beast system. Okay, so even though you have all these quote newer nations, it's all still the same. Let me see. As you can see, they were called by other names back in those days. You know, Dacia and Thrace. You know, you know, what's that? This one right here is green one right underneath Germania, and right next to, right east of Gaul or Gallia, one Dircia. I can't pronounce it. It tears me up, but that's basically where Dracula's from. So you have all these different, like I said, all these different nations whose names have been changed over the years, but they're all still part of that same beast system. Let me see. So this is a map of NATO and the EU, because that's exactly who the beast is. The beast is definitely, all these places, which is all of these places, but it's a representation of NATO. Okay, NATO and the EU, they're synonymous with each other, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And you see all the countries that are listed here are literally all the countries, that are blue here, and literally all the countries that are here. Save the U.S. and Canada, because the body of water right there is the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean separates North America from Europe, and that's how they came with this system, which is a joint system, which says that if any one of these nations goes into war, then all the nations go into war. So that's the treaty that they have amongst themselves. And so now that we have a concrete, solid foundation on who exactly NATO and the EU is, and who the 7 heads and the 10 horns are, we're going to dive a little bit deeper in it, and how that is relevant within prophecy. So let's jump back into the scripture. Really, before I get this, I'm gonna actually go to Revelation 18, and I'm gonna go to verse 3. It says, "For all nations have drunk with the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." So the nations, they're all enamored with America. Okay, they're all drunk on that democracy. They're drunk on the way that America has governed itself and put itself out there, so to speak. Okay, and all the merchants of the earth, it says that they're waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, because America is a consumer nation. Okay, America has been propped up, and it's been like I said, America is a consumer nation, and these other countries are able to use that to sell their goods and to get rich. Not only the EU nations, but you have other nations like China and Taiwan as well. There's very rare to see something that says made in USA now. Everything either says made in Taiwan, or everything made in China. You have a lot of other resources that still come from Europe as well. So now that we know that aspect of it, we can kind of get an idea of the landscape that's going on. So we have these countries, the EU, the the beast. We have all these countries right here, and they're living deliciously off the whore. Okay, so that's why it's so um, confounding. It's so it it hurts them so much by America going down, because they've been living deliciously off of it. If you go down and read, I believe it's in verse 10, it says, standing afar off for fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that's a great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for 1 hour is thy judgment come, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. So they're going to be no longer able to live off America. But even then, they're going to have a part in destroying America. Okay, so let's go back to the point that I kind of skipped over that I wanted to give that bit of information on. We're going to roll on down to verse 16. This is Revelation 17 and 16. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and they shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So we don't know exactly what this event is at this moment, but keeping up with the news, keeping up with the current events, you can see the tension between the whore America and the 10 horns, the 7 heads and the 10 horns, the beast, Europe, okay, all the other NATO countries. There's tension, okay. There was a lot of sanctions put on these European countries, dealing with Trump. the different steel, the different exports. He was basically taxing them a lot more. He wanted to get back to things being made in America and not having foreign dependency, which in nor any other sense would be a good thing. You would want to, stimulate your own economy, and to do that by, encouraging people to buy local. That's like you got a mom and pop store, and they sell apples and oranges, but you can go to Walmart and you can get apples, oranges, and grapes, and then all this, that, and the third. And people would prefer to go to the bigger store because not only could they get their fruit there, but they can get a TV, or they can get clothes, this, that, and the third, opposed to going to that mom and pop store where it actually matters more. Your money matters more. So instead of buying local, people, or instead of our country, sending money overseas, Trump wanted to build America, and as he said, make America great again, and build from within. But that put the countries who are, like we said, trying to live deliciously off of America, that put them at odds with America. Not only that, but the Iran situation, because the contract that was signed with Iran concerning their nuclear agreements has run up. So because those contracts have ran up and now they're enriching uranium, and America doesn't want to redo that deal. Well, now we have Biden in the office, and Biden is a throwback to the Obama administration. And if we learned anything in the Obama administration, it's that Obama and Iran did not have good dealings. Not only that, they had that same sentiment towards Joe Biden. So with them wanting to, or them having the opposite views of that nuclear deal, them being the U.S. and Europe having opposite ideas of that nuclear deal, is putting them at odds. And there is going to be a straw that breaks that camel's back. One other aspect of the EU that I kind of forgot to mention, is they are divided. They are divided because Slovakia. Yeah, you see the statue that was visioned in Daniel the second chapter. It's iron and clay. The feet are iron and clay. Okay, so iron represents the strength of the Roman Empire. Okay, not only that, it says it's mixed with miry clay. The clay is the weakness, and you have strong countries. You have strong countries like Germany. You have another strong country in the UK or Great Britain, and their economies are fine. But as we said, the EU, which like I said, the UK, you can see it's in red now because it has annexed itself from the EU. Okay, that's called the Brexit. The British exit. Why? Because as the EU, you you came into agreement that even though you are individual countries, you are one entity. So you go under one currency. Any currency can be spent in any one of these nations. If you can get into one of these countries, you can get into the next one, so on and so forth. And the stronger countries, the UK, the Germany, the ones that aren't doing as bad, they're expected to bail out the countries who are suffering. Which you have the pigs, okay? You have Portugal, you have Ireland, you have Italy, you have Greece, and you have Spain. All these countries aren't doing so hot. So with their plea for help, they're gonna basically bankrupt, these stronger countries because they're one entity and if one leg falls, then they all fall. It's the weakest link. Okay, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and if these countries start folding, it's gonna fold this EU. Okay, this European Union is gonna fold behind the weakness of these other countries. So that's why you had that Brexit take place, because they said, hey, look, I can see the forest for the trees. I'm not going to get caught up in this. You guys can go on with that foolishness. Okay, so and this is probably about 4,000 years worth of history, damn near. Probably get 3,000 years worth of history in 18 minutes, but we're getting to it. So we covered the beast. We covered the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Why is this important to know this? And we definitely went into it because I'll go back up to 14. It says 17 and 14, it says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords, and he is King of kings, and they that are with him are called, and they that are with him are called, and chosen, and faithful, who, are the hopeful elect. But that Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai, he is the stone that breaks apart the feet. He's the one who knocks the statue down. Because, like I said, they're partly strong, partly weak. Not only that, we have the prophecy. Let's go into so this is Jeremiah 50 and 9. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from out of the north country, and they shall set themselves against her. Okay, no, mainly it's talking about Russia, which is that great country, that great North country. And you can notice that this is our first mission of Russia. Russia is not part of the NATO or the EU or the beast. Okay, Russia is its own. It plays its own part. It is the bear. Um, so it says, and they shall set themselves in array against her, and then shall she be taken. Their arrows should be as of mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. So not only Russia is going to shoot missiles at America, but these other countries as well. Okay, if I can pull it up, all these other countries who have nuclear capabilities. Bear with me, Slakia. France and the UK, Spain, China, South Africa, Pakistan, North Korea, Japan, India, all these nations, they're gonna all shoot missiles on America. They're gonna all get together to destroy this one right here, America, the whore, which is riding on the beast. And want to let me hop back over here. Yeah, bear with me. I know I'm kind of jumping around, but it's so much in such a little time. I'm not even really trying to rush it. It's a lot of information. I just want to try to be as thorough as possible. And like I said, y'all bear with me because I know I'm jumping around a lot. Going back to the strong and the weak. Okay, so we have the strong and the weak. We know that Yahushua is going to break them up, and we know that they're half strong and they're half weak. What's the solution? How are they going to come up with a solution to strengthen the weak ones? Well, it's the same solution that they're going to come with to strengthen America, because America, Babylon, the whore, the new Roman Empire, Sodom and Egypt. Okay, we know that it's bankrupt as well, or going bankrupt. We know that everything that's taken place over here, since forever, because we're in a debt system. I'll say since post Great Depression. Once we left that gold standard, you have a nation basically that has a currency that's not backed by anything. It's just an IOU for lack of a better term. Okay, so this is it says, y'all never mind that my phone be messing up sometimes, but this is Habakkuk 2:6. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his. Okay, and we know that the so-called white man does that for a living. That's his MO. That's what he's known for. He goes into and out of places, conquering and pillaging, raping, robbing, and murdering, and taking that which doesn't belong to him. It says, woe to him that increases that which is not his. How long? How long is he going to be allowed to do this? Okay? And it says, we know that Yahushua is coming back, so his time has been determined. It says, and to him that lateth himself with thick clay. Now let's go into that. And that thick clay is Strong's H5671 Ibatya, okay, which means weight pledges heavy debts. And that debt clock is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every moment. Okay, every day that passes, we're getting millions and billions and it's getting up to trillions more in debt, especially with the pandemic and them having to issue out these stimulus packages, because it's not just them giving Americans money, they're putting a whole lot of other stuff within these stimulus packages. So now that we see America, the whore, being in debt, as well as the EU being in debt, they have to go to a new money system, which is what? This is Revelation 13, and starting at, I guess I can start at verse 12. It says, "And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed." Now, who is that beast that deadly wound was healed? That's Rome. Rome, deadly wound was healed and has reincarnated into America, the newest leg of the Roman Empire. Okay, the new incarnation of the Roman Empire. It says, "And he does great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men." Okay, so he has his technology. He has missiles. He has the power seat right now. He has control. Okay, he says, "And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast that had the wound by a sword and did live." Okay, so basically speaking on Slovakia, this the system that, basically Slovakia. Okay, so we're back. So when he's exercising the power of the first beast, and whose deadly wound was healed, is showing that first Roman Empire is America reincarnated, or vice versa. America is that first Roman Empire being reincarnated. You have so many parallels. You have the parallels of the Democrats and the Republicans, or the plebeians and the partitions. You have all of our buildings the same as the Capitol buildings, similar to the Roman buildings. You have the highways, there's so many other different parallels. But when you start speaking about those miracles, how they go into space, and how they built these missiles. These missiles are definitely a sight to be seen, and it gives them that power. But everything is through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. He created the smith to burn. He created them to basically destroy themselves. He gave them this power. Okay, in verse 15 it says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many will not worship the image of the beast should be killed." So that's this whole system that we're living in. Like I said, the image is that the whole system that we're living in. Going back to the parallels that I gave with this new Roman Empire and the last Roman Empire. And if you're not down with this image that they're pushing, okay, this is speaking of once they try to set up their empire, okay, which is that new world order. Once they try to establish it, that's the word I'm looking for, try to establish that empire, if you're not with it, then they don't need you. So that's why it says that if you don't worship the image of the beast, you're going to be killed. And that's also what talking about taking the mark. And it's going to get into the mark right here, because that mark is the key. The mark is the whole reason why we're here reading the scripture, because the mark is the answer to the question of how are they going to bounce back? How are all those pig nations who are weak, how are they going to get strong? How is America, who is trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, going to get strong? It's through the mark. Okay, it says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free or bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or forehead. Okay, which this mark that is speaking about is the RFID chip. Okay, it's an implantable device that they plan in putting into your hand that will hold currency, that will hold medical records, that is a tracking device that gives them all power over you. Okay, that's why it says that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So remember back in Revelation, why did I do that? In Revelation 18, it says that the merchants of the earth were waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So that's commerce. In order for them to have commerce still in these times, they're going to have to worship the image of the beast. They're going to have to accept that RFID chip to come down in their country and allow it to take over, which you have a lot more of those European countries already acquiescing to the mark, and it's being more prevalent over there than it is over here. Number one, they are the beast. Okay, they're still part of that beast, and I say people in Europe are a little bit more free thinking than Americans. Americans are dumb, and they have to. But Americans don't like change instantly. You have to blind the sheep before you kill it. You know what I'm saying? Or basically, when you slaughter a sheep, you can't show it the blade, and that's what America's doing. They're blinding you so that you can't see the blade, so they can come in and make the kill. Okay, it says, here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So this beast system is going to allow for the population to still conduct transactions, and it's going to allow it to be done in a new currency as well. So that's their plans, anyways, that they can rebuild the world in their image, which is the beast, and basically prosper. But as we said before, Yahweh Shai is that stone who is going to crush them. Yahweh Shai is that opposing force. And Revelation 17, where's it at? Is it 14? Yeah. It says, and these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of Lords and King of Kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So when Yahweh Shai and his men, mount up, that's when this beast and this whore, the EU, NATO, Esau in general, is going to go down. So I know that's a kind of a lot to take in. Please, by all means, take notes. I should have said that in the beginning, but go ahead and download this and take all the notes that you need. And this is the near future that we see coming upon us. So went over the past, went over the present, went over the future, and you should have a good idea right now who exactly the 7 heads and the 10 horns, those 10 kings, who exactly they are, who they were, and what's going to happen to them at this point. So With that being said, we give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai by Shem Kadash, the barns to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are during the truth and in sincerity, and the women and children who follow. Shalom.